These instructions are getting worse and worse as we go on. I just want to show you how in the world we are doing the end pockets and the sidewall curtains and everything. I think we're short 2 pulleys, so I'll have to go to the hardware store and pick that up. But I think we could keep going without them and add those in after I get to the hardware store. But let me show you what I'm doing here. Folding this in half, and then I'm just marking where the half is so that we can line it up on the board over there. I'm doing top and bottom. And I'm sure these don't have to be precise as I'm doing it, but might as well do it right since we're doing it. And then I grab my hammer and nails, and I'm gonna hammer this up. We have this roll of this like rubber gasket type material. We realized last night that they sent that because they thought we were putting in plastic end walls when in fact we're putting in wood end walls. So we have like thousands of feet of this stuff. So we're gonna use this along the nail holes just to make it more secure, so that we're nailing into this and the pressure's on this and not on the plastic. So if it does tear, this will tear before the plastic does. These instructions are getting worse and worse as we go on. So in our kit, the end pocket curtains came pre-cut. So that took a step of confusion out. And what we did is we took and we folded it in half, and we marked on the bottom and the top where the half was. And we stapled it to the end as far in as it would go. We got it nice and tight. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna take one of these brackets, this goes for the weight. So we're gonna take this weight and we're gonna mount it up here. We've got leg screws to go in, or leg bolts, whatever they're called, to go in there. So this will hang off the end. Once we get that done, what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut a slit in here and then fold this back over once we get the curtain up, and then secure it down. And what it does is it stops the wind from blowing in the end and pulling that side curtain out. So we nailed in along the bottom. Now this is too high for some reason. So I don't know if we were supposed to put that on before the channel or what, but on High Tunnels for Beginners, they didn't put it up to the top of the hip board. They put it right along under their C channel. So we're just doing it like that. And we stapled all the corners really well. We took roofing nails and nailed out to the edge on all of it so that it holds it nice and tight, because that's going to catch a lot of wind. So we're going to repeat that on the other 3 sides. And this bracket here will only be repeated on the other back side over there. Okay, so I just lined up the black Sharpie mark over along with the edge over here.
Perfectamundo, buddy.
And just under the C channel. It's almost like under the lip of the C channel almost. And then I'm gonna go all the way to the end for this one. Hammer it in.
Yeah, I know. I think I got one too many, but I'm not sure.
Pull it so it's snug.
Okay, bud.
I got it tight along the top, tight along the bottom with that extra rubber gasket stuff. And I'm gonna cut a piece to go here and nail that down, and then we will install the weight pulley. I don't know if that's what it's called, but that's what I'm calling it. Okay. There we go. Okay.
While my mom and I are working on this, my dad and Beck are framing in the back end wall. We're going to have 3 massive windows with shutter style closures, a door, and then a vent in the peak. Now that the end pockets are up, we have to cut the rope for the pulleys that raise and lower the actual curtains. So we're going to go in the house and we are going to cut them where we're out of the sun and it's nice and cool. So I believe we need to cut about 32 of these, and we need to cut them 80 inches long. Our couch just happens to be 80 inches long, so we're just wrapping them around the back of the couch, and we're going to cut them, and then we're going to burn the ends so that they don't fray. For the pipe that fits in the sidewall curtains, we need to somehow connect all of them because this is going to be 65 feet long. So we found on Facebook where they actually just hit them really hard with the claw of a hammer and it pinches the pipe together. We are then duct taping the seam just to make sure that it doesn't tear anything, and it has a little extra support.
10, 20, 30, 40.
We need 65 feet of this post together before we can put it in the curtain. So they came in 12-foot lengths, and so we ended up having to cut one. Once that was done, we can put the pipe in the curtain, or the curtain over the pipe, however you want to say it, and then we can start getting this thing up. This is requiring a lot of hands because it's 2 long, flexible things that we're trying to essentially put together, and the wind is getting pretty strong. So this is proving to be more of a challenge than what I realized it would be, but as long as we all communicate, it should work out pretty well. We finally have it up and everything. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some roofing nails and just tack it up as I work my way down the whole length of the high tunnel. We're trying to get it nice and straight and get it so that it is where we're going to want it when the curtain is fully raised. And so once I do that, we're going to call it a day because it's hot. It's really hot and it's windy and we're tired. It's about 4 o'clock now, so we put in a full day working on this today. So we are just going to be done for the night. Because it's been so hot, Lily's been getting up early in the morning before it gets warm to ride her horse Rusty, and boy, are they coming along great.
Hey, we're right in here. I heard it. We have a bumblebee.
Where?
Ah.
You see it?
Right over here. Right in there. Yay! We have a bumblebee.
I hear another one.
Sweet. Okay. Over here. Oh, that's an answer to prayer, Beck. Good morning. Today is July 13th, I believe. It's a Saturday, and it's about 9:30, and we're out working on the high tunnel. Now, yesterday we got this curtain tacked up and ready to install, and I realized when we were putting up the pulleys that we needed to do something a little different after we got this tacked up. So let me show you what we need to do and what we did. So we put the spacing based off of a combination of what we were seeing in the High Tunnels for Beginners group and from what we could understand of the directions. The directions are pretty much useless at this point, so we're really struggling with that, and so we're trying to go off of what the other things say. But in the directions it said to mount the C-channel about an inch down. So we did that. Well, then it told us to mount the pulleys, but it didn't tell us where and how far down and all that kind of stuff. So then we started going off of the High Tunnels for Beginners. Well, what I realized is the person who has been posting the videos that have been like super helpful, he has his C-channel actually right up to the top of right up to the top of this board. So that actually puts us like another inch down and everything. So when we were putting this up yesterday, we had to actually put the pulleys on top of this, when in fact the pulley should be like there, because the pulley is going to pull this curtain up and down, and from the top. So this top is going to go down or up. And so I'm going to have to go and I'm going to have to raise the pulleys all today. So I'm going to do that, and then we should be able to figure out how to put the cables and the ropes on next. Now, yesterday we did cut all of the ropes for this based on what the guy on High Tunnels for Beginners said. The directions just said we need to cut rope to length. So that doesn't really help. So the guy on High Tunnels for Beginners said what he does is he cuts, I don't remember how many he had. I believe we needed to cut 32. Maybe he cut 32. Rope at 80 inches. We actually only need them at 64 inches. But the 80 inches will give you an extra 16 inches to play with for like knots and that kind of stuff. So we went ahead yesterday and got all those cut. We got all the ends burnt so they don't fray, so they're easy to thread through. So it should be, once I get all of these pulleys in the right spot, I should be able to start making this so that it goes up and down. So after re-putting all the pulleys in and stuff, we realized it probably just would be better to raise the C-channel up so that it's flush with the top of the 2x8s. And if we have any problems on this side, we're gonna fix the C-channel first on that side. We already took the pulleys out, so that'll be easy to fix on the south side. On the north side, my thought is if we have any issues with getting this up high enough, to create a barrier, we'll just take and we'll attach like a board underneath the 2x6 here, so that it has something to pull tight against. On this side, we have more boards than time, and trying to figure out, we already have the pulleys, or the big pulley and the winch and everything in place. So to me it makes more sense to just do it this way, and we'll get the other side fixed how it should be, and then I think that is going to fix the problem. So one of the things with the directions from Morgan County Seeds is they told us to do, for the 5-foot sidewalls, they told us to do the bottom of the crimp on the sidewall posts at 4'4". And as you can see behind me, that isn't high enough for the curtain that they include for the side curtains. So we're having to go through and fold it and tack it up before we nail it all in. Otherwise we're gonna have this hanging out over the edge. And so if you're putting together one of these, if you have curtains that are supposed to be 5 foot high, you should make sure you raise your hip posts higher. And they could go up another couple of inches for sure, possibly another 6 inches, and that would have saved us this problem of these curtains being too long. Okay, so now we got the curtain all nailed, every 6 inches, and actually I take that back. We have it nailed every probably 2 to 3 feet, and we are going to get the pneumatic roofing nailer and nail, because they need to be nailed in every 6 inches. But we got them nailed so it's nice and tight, not too tight, but it's how it needs to be. And then we took and we put the cable through the main winch with the weight at the end, on the other end down there. And so now I have Beck, while I'm taking a water break, I have Beck putting rope in each pulley so we can start to figure out how in the world this pulley system works. It kind of makes sense in my mind, but then I start doing a step and I get slightly confused. So just going step by step, we're going to get it figured out, and this side we should be able to raise and lower today yet. Alright, so I'm going to show you how I put the pulleys in the system on, how I think it's the most efficient. So, in the end of this rope, we cut these ropes to 80 inches because that's what some guy on the Facebook group said to do. But can you hold the camera for me? Okay, so I have not seen anybody actually show how to put these pulleys up. So, show my hands, okay? So I'm taking and I'm just tying a basic knot in the end of the rope and getting a nice, clean, but tight, strong knot. So, just like this. Okay. So then, what we're doing then is we are taking, we are cutting, we gotta take the nail out that's holding the pipe up so that we can get it accurate. Okay, and then, can you get your hand off of the plastic for me, bud? Thank you. We're going to make sure that the pipe is at the top of the plastic, and right under the pulley we're just going to cut a slit through both layers. Okay, and through, and then we're going to take and feed this through. Let's see. Yep, feed that through like that. That second layer always catches, but with the ends burnt and melted together, it's fairly easy. You definitely want to make sure you have the ends of the rope melted. And then, so what we do after that, we got that so that it's nice and snug, right where it should be. And we run the end through the pulley, because that's what's going to hold it up. Then we make sure it's about the same distance as all the other ones. And then we take and we run it back to these clamps that came with the kit. There we go. Okay. And then, I don't have a
Low
clue.
battery,
That's okay.
10%.
That's fine, bud. Just keep recording, okay? Okay. Hold it right up. Oop, turn it down just a little. There we go. Okay, I don't know what kind of knot this is called, but we're gonna take and we're gonna, after it's put through, we're gonna wrap the tail around a few times, and then we're gonna swing it up and over and through, and then, I know, that's okay, we're almost done. And then we're gonna pull that so that it's nice and tight, and then we have a tight knot there, and then we pull this to where it needs to be, and then, okay, crimper, go get your crimping tool. We want to make sure, I'm trying to make sure that they're all kind of at the same position, so just a sec. I want to make sure it's at the same position as all the other ones. Okay, right about there. And then this is just from our fencing. It's the fencing tool that we have. And then we just he crimps it since he's so strong. And there we go, it's on nice and snug. And then we gotta put the nail back in down here so that we can do the next one without it starting to sag. So we put this in and then we go to the next one. And then keep going down 13 more times.
We got the ropes all done, and then we went and we took all the nails out, and now we are testing it for the first time.
You working, Kate?
Yes, it is.
But you can't.
So it is working exactly how we need it to, and that's a good feeling. I feel like we made lots of progress today. Now we're gonna go and enjoy the night at the rodeo.
There's a real entertainer, guys, a real athlete. Look under the backbreaker. Watch this gusset. This whole backbreaker is hurt. Even if you do it not, watch out. Stomp your feet. We are looking for 86 points. Tony Collins from last night was 85 and a half. As this
not right,
beautiful band of bucking horse mares make their way around tonight with their ladies. Now I want to ask you, did you enjoy the Saturday Night Rodeo?